In this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 best CTAs for cold email that are actually working going into 2025. Like magic. Now, I've sent over 50 million cold emails and I've generated $100 million in new sales for B2B companies using just cold email alone. And let me tell you, the CTAs that worked for me even just a year ago are now dead in the water. So if you want to stop wasting time with cold emails that don't work and start getting qualified leads on your calendar on autopilot, keep watching. Now, let's start by talking about what a CTA even is. Well, in cold emails, a CTA, or call to action, is the part where you basically tell the prospect what you want them to do next. It's basically like a link between your message and the next step in your sales process. But why is this so important? Well, think about it. You've written a great email, you've got their attention, you've showed them the value of what you offer, and you've even started to build some trust. But without the clear CTA, all that effort is wasted. They might read your email and think, ooh, that's interesting, but then do nothing. And guys, this happens all the time. But a good CTA points them in the right direction, whether it's replying to your email, checking out a link, or booking a call. Now, to start, I want to talk about 5 outdated CTAs that you're probably still using that don't really work anymore going into 2025. And I used to use all of these myself, so I'm sure these will resonate. Starting with number 5, which is the calendar link. You'll say, here's a link to my calendar. Pick a 30-minute time slot that works for you. Now, this puts too much pressure on the prospect, and it assumes they're ready to give you their time. Decision makers are busy, and this feels really pushy. It's kind of like asking someone to marry you on a first date. Number 4 is the unclear ask, and I see these all the time with my clients. Here's how it goes. Let me know if you want to chat more. Now, this is like a vague question that doesn't tell the person exactly what you want. People don't have time to figure out what chat more means, and this is a cold email. You've got 5 seconds to capture their attention and get them to do something without them really thinking about it or spending time processing what they read. Keep it specific. If you ask a vague question, they don't know if you want a call, you want an email reply, you want them to say something or think about something. Be specific. Don't use vague calls to action. Number 3 is the hard sell. Here's how that kind of goes. Are you ready to completely change your business today? Want to hear how I'm going to double or triple your revenue in the next 30 days. Being too pushy, especially in a first message, will turn people off. There's way smarter filters and your prospects are getting a lot more sophisticated. If you send me a cold email like that, let me double your revenue. Let me double your sales. Let me triple your call volume. And you're not specific on how you do it. This is not going to get a reply from me, and I'm probably going to mark you as spam. All right, we've got 2 left in the outdated CTAs list. Number 2 is specific time request. I used to use these and they used to work really well, not anymore. Here's how that goes. Are you free this Thursday at 2 p.m. for a call? Now, this is way too bold, and it assumes that you know their schedule. And now most people work remotely and have different time zones. So if you ask for a specific time, it will probably make you seem out of touch, and it puts added pressure on that person who doesn't know who you are, and they don't care about you yet. So they're probably going to ignore you or mark you as spam. Finally, last on our list of CTAs not to use is called the big ask. And this is kind of how that goes. Read our 30-page white paper and let me know what you think. Or here's an ebook. It's 100 pages long on this broad topic. These type of CTAs ask for way too much too soon. People's attention spans are tiny, and they've already overwhelmed with content. So asking somebody to read or consume something long before they know and trust you yet is probably going to get ignored. Now, if you made it through this list of CTAs to avoid and you thought to yourself, cool, my CTA is not on that list, or not exactly, well, that does not mean that your CTA is not still really bad. So if your campaigns are not getting the results that you want, try to swap out your CTA with one of these next 5 CTAs to watch your reply rates increase by 70 to 80%. All right, here are the 5 cold email CTAs that are crushing it for us going into 2025. And make sure that you stick around for the last one, because it is the one we're seeing the best results with by far. But first, a little quick call to action for you. This is how they work. If you learned something here, or you're about to, and you want YouTube to show you more money-making videos like this, then hit the like button on this video and make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. Number 5 is the small ask method. Here's how that goes. Would you be open to a quick 5-minute chat about a very specific problem that you're going to solve for them? Insert prospect's problem with specific problem. The more specific that you get, the better this will work. Now today, time is way more valuable than ever, and decision makers like me and like you are constantly bombarded with meeting requests, emails, and calls, and more cold emails than ever, and that's probably partly my fault. Now, the reason the small ask works so well is it shows that you understand that. You're only asking for 5 minutes, so you're showing that you respect their time, and you're making it a much easier yes for them, and that's really the goal here. And the key to making this work is your focus on a specific problem that they care about. Asking to talk about their business or discuss goals is too vague and will be ignored. Instead, you need to show that you've done your homework. For example, you could say, would you be open to a 5-minute chat about lowering your cloud computing costs by 30%? Or can I grab 5 minutes to talk about how you can boost customer retention by 25% using XYZ? This way, they know exactly what the conversation will be about, and they can decide if it's something they really care about. And this is where the precision of your targeting really plays such an important role. And this method works because of a principle called commitment and consistency. This was introduced by a psychologist named Robert Cialdini. I'm a big fan. If you haven't looked at his work, highly recommend it. There's a lot of relevant stuff there to cold email and marketing. The idea is that once people agree to something small, they're more likely to stay consistent and agree to more later. This is a really common concept in sales as well. And remember, the goal isn't just to close a deal in the first 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. It's about starting the conversation and showing that you can help them and that you're easy and fun to work with. If you can provide value in that short 5 minutes, then they're most likely going to want to keep the conversation going and follow it through because they've already raised their hand and said, I have a problem. If they didn't and they didn't need help fixing it, they wouldn't be on that call in the first place. But a fast way to ruin this technique is you promise them 5 minutes, asking them for more than 5 minutes on that first call. If you ask for 5 minutes, send them a link to a 5-minute call. Don't try and keep them longer. Don't try and go over. Try and wrap up in the 5 minutes and show that you respect their time while you're on that call. All right, did you like number 5? How about number 4? You're gonna love this one. Number 4 is the give value first method. Ebooks, PDFs, white papers don't work. You actually have to give value. Here's an example. I've got a quick tip about cold email that helped our clients get another 30 calls on their calendar. Are you interested in hearing it? See, everybody's inbox is filled with sales pitches. Decision makers like me and you are bombarded with messages that sound all the same. Buy our product, book a call, use our service. And it's all just noise, and most of it just gets ignored. That's why the give value first approach is different, because it really does the exact opposite. Instead of asking for something, you're offering to give them something. It's like being at a conference where everyone's handing out business cards, but you're the one giving useful advice or products or handouts for free. And who do you think they're gonna remember and go to when they need help? Probably you. Now, the key to making this work is to be very specific, and you'll see a trend here, and actually show results. Don't just say, I've got a marketing tip. It's too general, it won't catch their attention. Instead, you've got to say something like, I've got a quick tip about using AI to personalize content that helped our clients increase email engagement by 40%. Want to hear it. And if that's something that resonates with them, they will want to hear it, and that will be a lead for you. This one works because of the psychological principle of reciprocity, meaning when people get something, they often feel like they should give something back. This is why fancy retailers like Chanel will give you a water or a champagne as soon as you walk in. So when you give your prospects something for free without asking, they feel inclined to listen to you when you just do decide to talk about your product or service later. But really the name of the game here is give something actually valuable. If it's not, they're gone. So really come up with some valuable piece of information that they actually want and probably don't know and isn't easily accessible with the Google machine. And if they're interested, share that tip right away. Don't dangle something in front of them. Don't put them through an opt-in form. Just give it to them and then ask. All right, my guess is that one might be something that you've heard before, so this one probably won't be. Number 3 is called the personal touch method, and here's kind of how that works. You're gonna say something like, I noticed a specific thing about their business. Can I share a quick idea on how you could fix it or achieve a specific goal? So here's a quick example of that, and this is something I teach in my high ticket paid program. If you're able to get specific information about a company, like they have under 4 stars on Google, it's really easily accessible information using Google Maps scrapers. You can say, I noticed you have 3.2 stars on your Google reviews. Can I share a quick idea on how you could get that to 4.5 stars in just 30 days? Chances are that person knows that they have that problem and they do want the answer to that. And it sounds like you're reaching out specifically to them because you are. You've identified a problem that they're actually having, so they're going to be much more likely to respond and engage with you. In 2025, making your emails personalized isn't just a nice touch, it's something that you have to do. This is what separates people who get great cold email results and people who are stuck at a 1% reply rate and just can't seem to break through it. If you want to stand out and get great results, that 10% reply rate results, you need to do more. What works is showing that you've taken the time to understand their business, their problems, and their goals. And it shows that you're not just sending out a blast email to everybody that owns a business, but that you actually want to help and you're the right fit to help them with their specific problem. For example, you could say, I noticed your company just expanded to the APAC region and you're having trouble with deliveries in Indonesia. Can I share a quick video on how to cut delivery times by 50% in that area? This is ultra specific, and this is information that's publicly available online if you know how to look for it and if you know how to use the tools necessary to automate a lot of that. This approach uses something called the cocktail party effect. It's like when you're at a noisy party, but you immediately notice if someone says your name. In a crowded inbox, a personalized email works the same way. By mentioning something specific about their business, you grab their attention immediately. And with so many emails being generated by AI now, adding a personal human touch makes a big difference. All right, we're getting to the end now. Number 2 in CTAs that are working really well, and remember the next one is our most effective CTA. Number 2 is the case study method. And here's how that goes. We helped a similar company get X result. Do you want to see a 2-minute video about it, or can I send you a link to how we did it? Now, yes, video content is becoming more popular, but remember that people don't have long attention spans. That's why saying a 2-minute case study video works really well. You can also say a short 1-minute article or a 1-minute read, something to show them that they won't have to take a ton of time out of their day to consume something. It's short enough to respect their time, but long enough to show them what you can do and how it can help them. Now, to make this work, talk about something that matters to them. Instead of saying, we've helped companies like yours, focus on a company similar to theirs and share a result that relates to their problems. For example, you could say something like, we helped a mid-sized fintech company cut customer churn by 45% using this AI tool and strategy. Can I show you a 2-minute video on how we implemented it? Even better if you can name a specific company that they know of. This will work even more effectively. Now, this works because people like to follow what others do, especially if they're unsure how to do it themselves. So when you say we helped a similar company, it makes them think if it worked for them, it'll probably work for us. This is just a native thing that we can't help but think. That's why we trust firsthand testimonials even more than data. It's also a great way to grab someone's attention. Instead of just telling them what you can do, you're showing it with real proof. Just make sure that video or that case study actually does what you promise. Be clear, be helpful, and end with a next step. You could even make that video interactive by using a Loom video. You can add a button in the top right-hand corner and on the end screen so that they can book a call with you when they're done visiting. Another ninja strategy is you can put a tracking pixel on a lot of these video platforms like Vimeo, or you can embed the video somewhere. That way, when somebody watches that video, you can then retarget them with ads, showing them more case studies and testimonials. So the first time they watch that video might not be the time they take action, but if you retarget them, that's when you might really be able to make some serious money. All right, finally, we've got our number 1 call to action that is crushing it for us going into 2025, and here it is. I call it the let's work together approach, and here's how it goes. Say something like, I've got some ideas on how we could insert the problem that you want to solve. Would you be open to quickly swapping ideas? Now, also very important, as I'm sure you can imagine what I'm going to say, the problem that you name has to be relevant to them. It needs to be personalized to them. The better research you do, the better this will work. And here's why this works so well. This strategy isn't about pushing a product. It's about starting a conversation to solve a problem together. By doing this, you come across as someone who wants to help and not just to sell. If you want to see your reply rates quadruple overnight, like I promised earlier, The goal is not to sell them in the cold email. The goal is to initiate the conversation and don't make them feel like they're being sold to. And once you've engaged that conversation, now you're on their radar. They're going to go to your website, figure out what you do. And if you've done your homework right, you've identified them as a good fit for what it is that you offer. And once you build that relationship, they're likely to purchase from you. Now, to make this work, again, you need to be specific. Focus on a real problem that they might have. For example, you could say something like, I have some ideas on how to lower your AI training costs. Would you be open to swapping ideas quickly? This shows that you've done your homework and that you have something actually useful to offer them. This approach also taps into something called the IKEA effect. This means people value things more when they help create them. So by asking the prospect to swap ideas, you're actually involving them in the process. Now they feel more connected to the solution because they helped create it. And as we go into 2025, businesses want to work with partners rather than just buying from vendors and random people from the internet. So co-creating solutions makes your offer more attractive. But just remember, if you use this approach, be ready for a real conversation. Bring your ideas, but also listen to theirs. Now remember, the key is to be specific, offer clear value, and keep the commitment low. And here's the thing, even with these killer CTAs, running an effective cold email campaign takes time, expertise, constant optimization. And good CTAs are just a small, tiny fraction of the final puzzle. But if you want to use cold email to generate qualified leads on autopilot, you should, it's the best way, then you can let me and my team install my cold email machine into your business. We'll set up all the mailboxes, give you all the leads, and even write your email copy. This is all part of my flagship cold email program where I teach all of my secrets that are too sensitive for YouTube. If that sounds interesting, you can click the link down in the description to learn more and see pricing and availability. Click the thumbnail on this video to watch the next video about cold email, and I will see you soon.